Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stock Dirty to Me, the podcast for all your information for investing in the stock market. We are hosted by Stock Market for Beginners, the greatest group of stockbrokering investing things you need. As you can see, I'm here, Phil Better, the host with the most, the podcast legend. We got Dalton. We got Dalton over here, and then we got Tony down here. We're going to bring them on quickly, get this off to a great start. So, Dalton, up on the hot seat. Dalton, how are you doing this week in the stock market?
Perfect. I'm enjoying all of the rainy weather. It's actually pretty terrible, but other than that, it's been a good start to the week, I think, as far as markets go.
Okay. Tony, we're going to bring you up here. Tony is our Warren Buffett soon to be, if I like to call him that. Tony, how are you doing in the market? How are you feeling with the market going today?
I wouldn't say Warren Buffett, but the market, it's going great. Having a good day. Everything's up. I mean, if you wisely invested into the stock market and you made wise decisions, you probably had a really good day today. So.
Yeah. That is true. Today was a good day. Berkshire Hathaway I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but anyways, they released some their annual letter from their stockholder meeting that they have every year. Some interesting things were said. You posted that in the group. So Tony, you did that. Tony,
we mostly made fun of them.
Yeah, of course, because they're thinking old school when it should be talking the new school. Tony, something big, personally for me, something big happened this week. Last week, ending the week off. My favorite sport, or one of my favorite sports companies, the UFC, went onto the stock market with an incredible opening evaluation of close to $10 billion.
Yeah, they went in through a SPAC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through Endeavor, was it?
I believe so. What is your take on this? This is a company that is in the MMA world. Do you see other companies, maybe like other sports teams, going onto the market?
Well, I love UFC. I think typically though, sport teams they're not usually publicly traded because they tend to make a lot of money anyways.
It's true.
Like all the NFL teams.
Except for one. There's one team that is actually
the Packers. Yeah. But as far as UFC becoming publicly traded, I mean, they went the route of a SPAC where they're kind of going around the traditional IPO process to get listed faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous to jump in on those right away, because the thing to know with SPACs, and I did an episode on SPACs, is a lot of the initial sponsors and investors, they solely get into buying a company to bring it to the market very quickly within a short amount of time. And then as soon as the price goes up, they're out. They're getting their money back, taking profits, and they're done. So a lot of those sponsors of SPACs, they're creating essentially a shell company to buy a private company and bring them private. And their sole purpose is to make money fast. And that's why SPACs have an expiration date on them of typically a year and a half, 2 years. I think the tops is 2 years, or else the investors get their money back. So you got to be careful when you're jumping in on a SPAC, because a lot of these are just pump and dump schemes. They're trying to make quick profits and get out. If it went to an IPO process as UFC and did it the right way, I'd probably be like, yeah, maybe I would get into that. But I don't know. As a SPAC, I think I'm going to sit that one out.
All right, we'll bring on Dalton here, our Canadian Warren Buffett in the making, from Banton Court Capital. Dalton, what's your opinion on the way that the UFC went about becoming a publicly traded company?
Well, everything Tony said is 100% correct. So any type of, I would never touch a SPAC personally, because it's exactly what he said. It's a group of very, 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 very wealthy investors that come together to form a publicly traded company, and then they go and they hunt for a private company and try and take them public. And usually, what they're searching for, these SPACs, is they're looking for something that's at the pinnacle of popular culture, right? So whether it's flying taxis, like some of the guys are doing, or electric vehicles, or UFC, it's usually something very, very popular, or something on the next level of where where the future is going, where life is going. So it's typically they're not in any way the greatest investment decisions for that reason. Most of what SPACs are going to buy and take public are going to be companies that are hurting for cash, which is why they need that cash in infusion, and they need the lack of oversight that comes through going public through a SPAC, because you'd have to go through a lot more scrutiny and disclosure if you were to go do a IPO, and you might not get. The reason why USC doesn't go through a IPO is because they're going to go up to the bank, and all the big banks are going to be like, no way, no, this is too much risk. If we buy these, all your shares at a valuation of 10 billion, guess what? We're going to have a hard time turning around and selling that on the market. So it's a little bit of a different route, and typically, as Tony said, these guys, they get together, they pool their funds, they go buy something, and then they start dumping shares. That's how it happens. And Endeavor has actually gone up, and the reason for that is because as of right now, at least, there's more retail investor demand than there is for the insider selling. And like I said, that only happens if you pick something that's very, very high up in popular culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that's interesting because Warren Buffett even talked about SPACs in the annual shareholder letter that he sends out, and at the event, saying that it's making it his job harder for them to buy these great companies at a great price. So it's interesting to see if more companies are going to do this SPAC or they're going to go the old-fashioned way. Depends on how greedy, I guess, people would be. Would you say?
Yep. I would say you probably see a lot more small and regional sports league like the UFC. You'll see a lot more of those go public.
All right. Now, we have a topic that's kind of popped up here and there with the cryptocurrency, because we've been getting a lot of cryptocurrencies questions, but something that I'm interested in hearing about, and just maybe something you know about. We do have a video for this, so we'll play that. But what is an NFT? Why should we invest in NFTs? Should we not? Do you have something you want to put on that, or do you want to just jump to the video right away?
Yeah, I have a little bit to say, but I did write the article on NFTs and dApps, and I'm looking at NFT marketplaces like a lot more now, especially Rarible. And the thing with NFTs is, so they're non-fungible tokens, and I had an argument with somebody in the group about NFTs, and he was like, NFTs are going to be the future, digital art is this and that, and I'm like, and the first application of NFTs right now is images, is digital art.
Yeah.
And the thing with that is it doesn't make any sense, because people are buying for thousands of dollars these tiny little pictures, moving pictures, and all you do is watch them on your phone. Like, I have plenty of artwork here in the house, but they sit on my wall, and I can look at them, I can touch them, they're fungible. You can play with them, and it's a totally different story when it's just digital. It doesn't have the same sort of appreciation for the visitors to my house as does the real artwork, which is a problem. So images, NFTs, and digital artworks, that's going to be the fad that kind of passes. And what will end up staying is all the other really interesting parts of NFTs, which are music licenses, and a whole other vehicle permit plates, and all these other types of things that have to be unique and can be traded and purchased. So those things are interesting, but things like artworks and images, I just don't see how digital art is really making that big of an impact.
All right. I'm gonna put the video in the group later to explain what NFTs are with this, because it's a bit of a long video, and don't want to burn too much time here. Was going to ask Tony if you wanted to touch on something, but looks like he's left the screen. He'll be right back. Live show, people. Live show.
Yes.
Tony, do you want to touch on NFTs? Yeah, we can edit that out in the post. What do you think of NFTs? What are the future applications for investors with NFTs, or are you not touching that?
I'll be honest, I really don't know enough to to say anything. Like I would agree with what Dalt said and what the video you're going to show says. I'm not educated enough on the subject to really give an informed opinion.
Okay. Well, something that you are educated on and you've spoken highly about is these crypto situations and altcoins. Recently in Turkey, there was like I think it was $2 billion scam, or like somewhere between $2 to $6 billion scam with 62 people arrested. Do you want to just tell people, because we're getting a lot of these crypto coin offers and that in the group, and we want to educate these members on the smart play. What is your take on how we should invest in crypto?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is make sure you're buying from a very reputable crypto exchange. Obviously, this happened I think it was it happened in Turkey. Yeah. And I read it a week ago. I can't remember all the details, but I know it was like 60 people were arrested. And what happened was this guy that created this exchange got billions of dollars in assets from people's money investing in all these coins. And then he just decided, when people were trying to take their money out, he just decided to freeze the exchange and just dip with all the money. Obviously, it didn't work out for him in the end. But this is the risk of buying crypto. One, it's not regulated by any governing body or central bank. Two, there's a lot of really shady exchanges out there that there's so many of them that I never even heard of until the last couple months. And a lot of them, there's no guarantees if they could be hacked. A lot of them do get hacked, and your crypto's gone forever because there is no FDIC or SIPC insurance to protect you if someone steals your crypto, like there is with money in a bank account or a brokerage account. There's no FINRA or any type of governing body. So you have to be really careful and go with reputable exchanges. And that's why I use Coinbase, even though they're higher fees. They're known for their security. They're reputable. They're the largest in the US. I know Binance is a pretty reputable one. So you just got to be very careful where you're buying your crypto and also what kind of crypto you're buying. You don't want to get caught in a Ponzi scheme. I know a lot of people are comparing SafeMoon to a Ponzi scheme right now. I can't fully verify that. I don't have any information to tell you that that's what it is for sure. But it kind of, something doesn't seem right about it to me. I'm going to stay away from SafeMoon and Ratcoin and all these other ridiculous coins. We live in a strange world right now.
So we're not seeing a Tony coin anytime soon?
I would say we live in a strange world where Dogecoin has a larger market cap than blue chip companies that have been around for decades. So
it's true.
That's where we are.
So we have our first question from a regular follower. We want to shout him out. Patrick, his question is, what will be the impact of Apple's privacy policy on ad revenue when ad revenue played a major role in Google, Facebook revenue in Q1? It's a good time to invest in Fang or wait. I have no idea what Fang is as an uneducated person in the stock market. So, Tony, first off, what is Fang and should we be investing in it? And then second part is what's going on with Apple and what they're doing.
If I'm not mistaken, Fang is just an acronym for the major mega cap companies like Facebook, Apple, Google. I'm not sure what the N is, maybe Netflix. I don't know. But it's the major market.
According to Dalt, it's Netflix. So at least we have that.
It's the mega cap companies, like the big time players. And now I can't remember his question. The privacy. I don't know.
We'll just leave it on the screen. There we go.
I don't know. I don't know what type of impact it's going to have because I don't know what Facebook, how much Facebook is actually affected by this. I've seen some of our members bring this up before, and some of them adamantly arguing that this is a big deal. I just don't know enough about it. It doesn't. I think that this is going to work itself out somehow. I think eventually Apple and Facebook are going to realize that they're going to lose too much money, and they're going to come to an agreement because they're both going to be affected by this. So that's my take on it, but I don't know.
So is it a good time to invest in Fang or?
It's always a good time to invest in those type of companies. Especially if you're going to buy them in an ETF, maybe not individually, because I know the market is very high overpriced right now. But it's always a good time to invest in indexes that have those companies in them, and those are heavily weighted companies in most major ETFs. So
Excellent. We're going to bring Dalton on. He's going to give us his opinion while you take your nice sip of that beer or apple juice, depending.
Apple juice, come on.
Same question. Got to be a little PG here. What will be the impact of Apple's privacy policy on ad revenue for the big guys? And is it a good time to invest in Fang?
Yeah, well, always a good time to invest in Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. I don't think there'll ever be a bad time. My favorites are Google and Facebook, just because of the stranglehold Google and Facebook have on the whole world, whereas Apple is kind of a U.S., Canada, North America specific sort of brand. 80% of all iPhone users are in North America, something ridiculous like that, and only 20% of the world actually uses that. So once you leave North America, Apple's kind of a non-issue.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorites there will always be Facebook and Google because they're used by people everywhere. So with that being said, I think Apple, I've always had a little bit of a knock on Apple because they kind of seem to just reiterate the same sort of thing year after year. All their revenue pretty much is coming from iPhones, and they just do slight tweaks of it every year, and they just sell you back the same phone, and every year it's 50% more expensive. It's been working since Steve Jobs passed, thankfully for them, because they have no more creative tricks left. The smartwatch, Apple Watch did a really good job for them, and in capturing some whole new revenue. They are the market leader as far as smartwatches go.
Mm-hmm.
So privacy policy, I'm not too worried about it. These little things have a way of just kind of passing under the rug. How many times have I seen, Google CEO in front of Congress, Bezos in front of Congress, Zuckerberg in front of Congress, Tim Cook.
Zuckerberg doesn't like to get in front of Congress for obvious reasons.
He likes
they've been there so many times. Privacy has always been a big thing for these companies because they have a lot of market share in the United States, and it's that's a problem for the government. But you know what? These things, they don't matter over the long term. These are short term problems, and things usually work their way out over time.
Excellent. We're going to jump into another topic that was brought up by the group. And of course, if you're watching live, let us know with a like, let us know with a comment. We'll put them on the screen if you have any questions for our experts here. But OTCs for beginners. This was a topic that was brought up. I have zero knowledge in OTCs. I don't even know what they stand for, just like Fang, because I'm a new member. But OTCs for beginners, can you give us just a rough overview on what they are?
Yeah, so OTC, so that's the over-the-counter market in the United States. It is its own exchange, so keep that in mind. It's an exchange that's typically used. There's a little less oversight than there is, say, if you're going to list on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. A little less oversight, and typically what OTC is known for is extreme venture capital companies who are looking for an easy way to access capital and have their shares traded. So it's typically a lot of garbage, a lot of penny stocks. But in addition, what's also there on the over-the-counter markets is a lot of ADRs, which are American Depositary Receipts, which are foreign companies listed on an American exchange. So you'll find a lot of good companies there. So Volkswagen, the VWAGY ticker, VWAGY, is listed over the counter. Panasonic, I believe PCRFY, is listed on the over the counter markets. And there's a lot more really great foreign companies that are listed there. But those are ADRs. So if you were looking, like, I have invested in over the counter markets, but I've been in ADRs. I've been invested in Panasonic before and Volkswagen. So there is a place, there is a reason why investors might go there to access these great foreign companies that are listed in US dollars. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I think especially what we find in the group is a lot of people are going there to pick up your penny stocks, your stocks that are, trading at a tenth of a cent, and you look at the market cap of these companies and they got a market cap of $5 million and they've had no revenue since they were born. And so these types of things get very, very concerning because the OTC markets, exchange, they aren't as strict on reporting requirements, and that's just not for earnings.
Yeah.
That's for all types of reporting, partnerships, losses, all this stuff. It's not as strict as you would be on NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, which is why you don't find those companies there, because they're typically very shady. So everybody has to really keep an eye out for that.
Too. Sorry, I was
All
gonna
right,
say
we're-
the pink sheets are the ones you probably want to stay away from, because those are the ones that there's no financial information available, and it could be someone having a business in their shed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they could say that they're making $100 million a year, and they're making $20,000 a year.
Exactly.
So you got to be careful for stuff like that.
Well, that brings me up to something that's interesting, because I was watching something on Netflix recently called the China Hustle,
Yeah.
which talks about how
I watched that because of you. You told me about it. Yeah.
me or him.
No, you, Phil.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was one of the recommendations. And it talks about how some of these Chinese companies use the OTC to get into the market, get all this money, but through satellites and boots on the ground, you find out that they're not doing anything. They're like you were saying, Tony, they were just in their garage making maybe 20K a year when they're saying they're making like 40 to 70 million dollars. So it's interesting that you're warning us, Dalton, saying if you want a good overseas company like Panasonic or Volkswagen, you can find them on the OTCs. What do you use the OTCs for anything, Tony?
No, like he said, you could buy good companies. I mean, clearly Volkswagen, there are well-known companies on the OTC, but and like he brought up with ADRs and foreign companies, a lot of times foreign companies, especially China, they'll use those and get SPACs to sponsor them to become public, and they're nothing. They're like you saw in that video, they're just an abandoned barn, with a bunch of garbage laying around, and there's no products, there's nothing, and people are getting scammed into these. So you just got to be real careful if you're going to invest in OTCs. And I didn't mean to cut off Dull on that at the end there. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you were right. You were right.
I just wanted to warn people, because a lot of people look on pink sheets, and you have to be really careful because you have no idea what you're buying. And there's multiple levels of OTC. I think, you have an upper level where they do have some legal responsibilities. They have to report their financials and certain things. And then you have different tiers of OTC, and they do sell bonds on OTC. There are stuff on the OTC that trade at lower volumes. The price may be too low to be on a regular exchange, because the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange have price limits. You have to be trading at above a certain price per share to be listed. So there are good companies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fully bashing OTC, but most of them, I don't know if it's safe to say 90%, Dull. I mean, what are we saying? Most of them are garbage,
At least 50% are garbage. We'll go with that. We'll split it down the middle, which actually brings us to a question from a user.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They're asking, sorry, they didn't sign into it. They're asking, what is the best OTC you can recommend? And they want to thank us for sharing. It's our pleasure to do this show for you guys. So, Tony, do you have any recommendations for a good OTC that you can recommend?
I'll give one, and I'm not recommending you buy it, but I'll tell you this was the best one, in my opinion, is probably Volkswagen, and I can't think of any other one. So back to you.
We'll bring on Dalt, who probably knows more about the OTCs and the stuff there, because you've traded on it. Dalt, best OTC you can recommend? We're not advising people to buy. This is purely educational. These are just advice from two guys who have been in the market long term. They understand it, but you're always advised to go speak with an actual financial advisor when you're making these things. These are just our opinions. They have no weight whatsoever. Do not sue us, pretty much is what we're saying. So Dalt, what is some of the OTCs you can recommend for our listeners?
I would agree with Tony 100%. There's only one article that I've written on an OTC stock over the last 12 months, and it is Volkswagen. So Volkswagen, they're gonna pass Tesla. Tesla had a really good first quarter. I was very, very surprised that they're starting to fight back. But again, any fight put up from Tesla can just be Volkswagen can do that in a couple of weeks. So what it takes three months Tesla to do. So Volkswagen is going to be the best probably OTC stock moving forward. They will always be, even when Volkswagen passes Tesla in EV sales, and that will happen by the end of next year. There's no doubt about it. But when that happens, they're still going to trade at a discount to Tesla because of the shady business they got into with their diesel cars and the emission scandal.
Which there's an episode on Dirty Money on Netflix in which I would highly suggest you watch. But continue, Dalton.
They'll always be at a discount because of that, because there's always that inherent risk that they are doing something shady behind the scenes. But with that being dead, and a fossil fuel ban coming, you have to figure, well, there's never going to be an emission scandal ever again, right? So there'll always be a discount because of that, but they will pass Tesla in terms of EV sales, and for that reason, they have to be one of the best stocks as a whole on the over-the-counter markets.
So we thank you for watching, and of course we thank our amazing panelists here with the knowledge that none of us have, but they're sharing it for us after years of learning it themselves. Moving forward, we got 3 minutes left. Dalt, I'm going to let you let everybody know where they can find you, how they can contact you if they want more. And you do have your blog, which I think people should be reading. So how about you just shout yourself out?
Yeah, so you guys, you can always find me in the group. I'm always the guy commenting on someone's post, making them really, really angry because I'm correcting them. But I swear it's for everybody's own good. And if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm telling you, you will make a lot of money and your trading results will improve. And I also share all my articles that I write on Sundays and Wednesdays in the group, but you can always find them at banningcourtcapital.com/blog. I've got over 83 articles now. And so I cover everything from investing tips, trading strategies. I got stock picks on there, cryptocurrency stuff, and then my own personal opinions. So always filter through the categories. There is always something good for you guys.
Excellent. We're going to bring on our fellow wealthy, soon-to-be Warren Buffett, even though he doesn't want to say he's Warren Buffett because he doesn't like the title. But Tony, let us know where we can find you, how we can get in contact, and the final thoughts on the episode.
Well, based on my Facebook DMs, many people know where to find me on here because I am just absolutely swamped with hundreds of DMs that I can never possibly read unless I just sat around all day. But you can try to DM me. Maybe I'll see it. And I try to answer everybody back. And you can also follow me on the Stock Bros podcast, which everyone sees my links. I post them all the time. And also thank you so much because this week I hit 1,030 subscribers. That's go.
Thanks to all you amazing people in the group.
Yes. So maybe one day I have dreams of possibly being paid by YouTube if I can get to 4,000 hours of minutes viewed, or 4,000 hours of view time, not minutes viewed.
Minutes would be quick. Hours are days.
So I appreciate all of you for watching. You can follow my podcast. It's all free. It's always going to be free. And I do have a course too that is half off right now for financial literacy and investing 101. But if you don't want to pay for anything, we have so much free content on here, and we will continue to have lots of free content. So thank you.
Excellent. And I'll jump in here the last bit. I don't really have anything stock related to tell you. Just letting you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last live show we're going to be doing due to technical difficulties that we seem to be having during the show. But the show will still be shown live in the group on YouTube, premiering and that. So we'll let you know when that comes in. It's going to be cool.
Ask people, can we take a poll for all the people that are watching or are going to watch, comment and let us know how the video quality was.
Yes, please. I've stepped up my video quality on my end, got a new computer.
Better this time than last week. It sounds a lot better.
So
I've-
we're let us know. The plan is still to go live or premiere the videos so that you guys keep getting this knowledge. If you're interested in learning more about entrepreneurship, or anything like that, or you want to hear me speak more, you can find my podcast, investinyourselfpod.com. I talk with anybody who's an entrepreneur. So Tony's going to be on season 4. Probably Dalt I'll have on season 4 because they're both entrepreneurs in this world. But I have amazing guests, and season 2's guest actually is an amazing individual. He is in the group, hidden in the group, doesn't post that much, but he is a OG digital marketer who bought a rugby team. So there's that, and he helps businesses in the startup as an incubator. So hopefully one day we can get him on the show to share some of his wisdom about angel investing and that. But ladies and gentlemen, I am Phil Better. Hold on. How do we do this? Dalt's over to my right. Tony's down below. We are the stockbrokers of this, not stockbrokers. We stock dirty to you. That's all. I don't know how to end these things. So I'm just going to say, we're working on it. I'm working on it. I'm sorry. I want to thank everybody for watching, for subscribing to Tony's YouTube channel, for checking out Dalt's blog, because I read it whenever it comes out because it helps my education. And thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Let us know what you think of the show and what you want to see on the show, because this is strictly for you guys to learn more about the stock market and become better investors.
Yeah, let's go.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Take care.